Well, hi everyone. Welcome back. I have a lot to go through today, so hopefully, I don't know what I was about to say with starting with hopefully. I have a lot to go through today. Sorry this is a little late. Usually I know my videos post Wednesday night at midnight Eastern United States time, which is daylight savings time right now. But it's kind of a crazy week, being that it is a holiday week with Easter coming up, and so everything is off, and it is Wednesday morning. Well, I think it's Wednesday afternoon now as I am filming this, so it'll be late, but it'll still be up on Wednesday, which is what my goal is, so I'm still gonna make it. As you could probably guess from the fact that it's Wednesday afternoon and I'm filming, I'm taking the day off today. I'm taking the rest of this week off, just kind of for myself to relax and finish some of my goals. It's March 31st, so I've got one thing I have to finish today, which I will talk about when I get into whips. So let's jump right in. I have a bit of haul this week, and this will probably be the last bit of haul that I have. Everything else that I've ordered is on back order, so I don't know when it will be here. It'll be a surprise to me as well as to you. That's not entirely true, because Mystic Fabrics, I know Misty is dyeing the fabric of the month within the next few days. Bills are not due till the 4th, so I don't think it'll ship out until after the 4th. So it'll be a little bit later than usual, but it's always worth the wait. So, all the Expo craziness has got everybody a little bit off. Speaking of Expo, I have the one thing that I actually ordered from Expo arrived this week. And along with it, I ordered through Mystic Fabrics. And Misty always includes copies of the free patterns that some of the designers send out for Expo. So I've actually got quite a few patterns this week, but I can't really show you any of them because aside from this particular one, which is Cow Ring by Works by ABC, most of them actually have the pattern on the page. So obviously I can't give you, not gonna post patterns, copyright and all that jazz. So I got my free patterns, which there are a couple in there that I'm looking at doing eventually. Since it was the moo the merrier, there's a lot of cows. I grew up in a dairy farm. So now that I don't have to deal with them all the time, I love cows. Growing up, it was kind of a pain, but now it's got that nice nostalgia to it, right? So, but anyway, I only ordered what I did a pretty good job. I only ordered one pattern from Expo. I then turned around and ordered 2 more Expo patterns from later, because I decided that I actually did want them. But during Expo, I limited myself to one pattern, and it was this one. It is the Christmas at the Beach Triptych by Meridian Designs. And are we surprised that I ordered the pattern with the flamingo? No, we are not. So I have the flamingo and Santa hanging out in a beach chair and the palm tree. And if you read the description on the back, it says Santa has trained his elves well and decided to take this Christmas off. He needs to relax at the beach with a festive friend, a cold drink, and a stunning sunset. Of course, there is a gift under the tree, though. So there, we'll give you one more look at it. Again, I'm sorry I don't get these straight right away, but my watch is the opposite of the camera, so I'm always guessing. So, that's it. My one Expo pattern. Surprise, surprise. It had flamingos and beaches on it. And then I ordered a couple of the Moo the Merrier patterns as well as the sulky threads for that. So those are on back order, but they will be here eventually. The one other thing that I got in my little splurge that I haven't talked about yet is I got an because it's not really stitchy stuff, but I decided to share anyway because I'm excited about it. I got an electric kettle so that I can bring it up to my craft room along with some of my tea, and I already have a mug that I keep in there. So now I don't have to go downstairs to brew tea, so I'm really excited about that. My goal is eventually to have my craft room be kind of like, so that I don't have to go downstairs very often when I'm in the middle of a night where I'm having good stitchy time. Because with the arthritic knees, going up and down the stairs a lot isn't great. So the kettle, and then the other thing I'd like to get is like a small, maybe dorm size fridge that I can keep wine or cold drinks or maybe little snacks in. So that, yeah, I don't have to be running up and down the stairs, because that gets hard on my knees, and then eventually I end up not doing it, and I have all this beautiful tea and none of it is getting drunk because I don't want to go downstairs, and then I don't want to wait for the kettle to boil while I'm downstairs when all my stitching is upstairs. And so yes, electric kettle, very excited about it, can't wait to test it out. Didn't bring it up here to show you because I'm an airhead. And then the other two things I got are kind of my standing monthly orders. So the first one is I got the next pattern in the Zodiac Stitch Along, and that is Taurus, the bull. Connect camera so I can see what I'm showing you. I hope you can see that. Yes. So we'll get up close so you can see Taurus. And there he is in the grand scheme of things. I really want to work on this one, but I've got other goals right now. So they accumulate and eventually I will finish them. And then the last thing I got was my fabric of the month from Bestitch Me. If you don't like crackle, I apologize. I love it. I know, I'm weird, but I love it. So, and this month was a neutral month for me. I'm in the mixed club, so every other month I get a color and a neutral. And so this month I got the neutral, and it's Through the Stones. And so it's a lovely neutral gray. Gray is one of my favorite neutrals to work with. So it's kind of a bluey gray. Looks to me like that color is pretty true to what I'm seeing here. It's gray, maybe even verging on like a baby blue. So really pretty, I really like it. Like I said, gray are one of my favorite neutrals. I'm not a big beige fan. Like the sagey greens, not so much. Gray is where it's at. In fact, when I first moved into my current home, the room that it was my office while I was in law school and is now I'm slowly converting it to a craft room, and when I get done, we'll do a craft room tour, was this sage green, and I didn't like it. So I painted the whole thing gray, and now all of my posters and my degrees and stuff that hang in that room, I love the way they look against the gray. I don't think I'd have loved it as much as it was with the sage green. It was totally worth it. Although it was really funny because I had a step stool, but even on the step stool, I wasn't tall enough to reach. I've got high ceilings. I wasn't tall enough to reach all the way to the ceiling. And a friend offered to help me, but she couldn't help me until the weekend. So on the weeknights, I was painting by myself. So when she finally got here, there was just a strip of sage green around the top of the room, and then the rest of the room was gray. So then she was able to climb up on the step stool and reach the rest of the way because she's significantly taller than I am, and I love having tall friends as a short person. It's the best. So now you have completely useless trivia about me and my house that you didn't need. But I had had fun telling it, so it's my channel. And if you didn't like it, I hope you skipped it. Progress for the week. I actually got quite a bit done. Not as much as I wanted to get done. If you'll remember, my goal was to work on the 4 projects I had and put in 5, bring them up to, because I already had stitches in on all of them, bring them up to 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 stitches. And I didn't do that. I didn't work on one project at all, which is Cinderella. And then the other 3 I brought up to 500, 1,000, and I am still working on getting the 1,500 done. So let me show you what I got with those. The first one is the 500. This is paw prints. And I think it's by New Stitch Design. The link will be in the description box as always. This is the graduation gift for my young adopted niece who is graduating this year. Actually, she's technically already done with all of her classes. But the graduation ceremony is in May, and that's what I am working my way towards. So I brought this up to 500 more stitches complete. I think I might have been at like 200 the last time I showed it to you. And here's where I'm at. I need to be bringing my camera up on my watch more often. I can't see. All right, I'm gonna have to stop recording and hope that this blurry goes away. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back after technical difficulties. Someone has stopped by to say hi, because anytime that there is noise she's not expecting, she must investigate, because it could be interesting. But anyway, yes, here's where I'm at. So you can see I've got all of both paw prints done except for one little toe bean right there. And then I've got the little bit of this side of the heart that there is. So all I have left to do now is the heart and that little bit of the toe bean and the back stitching. Which, by the way, those of you that helped me with that, Julie and Annette, thank you so much for your suggestions and your advice. Particularly Annette, for some reason I was unable to respond to your comment, but I did get it, and I did get the link that you sent me, and I really appreciate it. So I have a few ideas between them and then myself. I looked up some of the Stitch People fonts, and I think I found something that might work. So fingers crossed on that one, and hopefully we will get to finishing this one up in the very near future. But this is the one that I brought to 500 stitches complete. So I believe that this was, I defeated a siren. Are you gonna make yourself comfortable now? Preferably not on top of me. Or I guess on top of me. You're lucky you're cute. Did you know that? Thank you. You're lucky you're cute. Uh-huh. But you need a toothbrush. Oh. Okay, so. Bye. Guess she got what she wanted. I feel so used. The next one I got done, I'm really enthusiastic about right now. Because you know that point where you find the point where it goes from just being a shapeless blob to being able to see what is actually there. And particularly when I'm working on a character stitch, the moment that it stops becoming something and I find the character in the pattern. And I hit that this week with Sebastian. And I am really excited about the progress I made, and I had a really hard time when this was my 1,000 stitch. I can't remember what the 1,000 stitch was. The 1,500 stitch was Cyclopes. What other monsters were there in this one? Hydra? I think this was the Hydra. Yeah, so I hit over 1,000 stitches on this one, and then it felt physically painful to put it down, because suddenly I see Sebastian. And I usually don't put up older pictures, but I'm gonna put up a progress picture of where I was not too long ago right here. And this is why this one was kind of surprising, and now you're going to hear me wax poetic about anime and this character in particular, who's one of my favorites, and this stitch, and how impressed I am with the pattern. So what you saw from that, I thought that putting in that red eye was going to kind of make it pretty obvious right away that it was Sebastian, and I felt like it didn't, because that eye to me felt sinister and narrowed, and for as much as, if you're familiar with the story of Black Butler, Sebastian is a demon. So he's sinister is kind of what you would expect. But in his human form, he's actually supposed to be objectively beautiful. I mean, a lot of the storylines involve him charming people and outright seducing people into doing what he wants. So he more often comes across as mysterious rather than malevolent. And he has his moments when the demon shows through. But this was not meant to be one of them. So putting that eye in didn't really feel like Sebastian to me until recently. And here's where I'm at now. And now that looks like Sebastian's eye. It's amazing how much just putting that black in really just made that shading pop around the eye. Actually everywhere, just putting this black in and putting the eye in even made the shading pop through here. And it suddenly looks very real. And the other thing about this that kind of made this, even before I got to the eye, the other part, and I sent a text to a friend who's a mutual fan and said, suddenly I see Sebastian, is when I got this lock of hair in. Because Sebastian's hair is kind of a distinguishing feature on him. Actually, I brought in one of my copies of the manga. Of course, the ring light's going to reflect off that. But you can kind of see it's long and it's unruly to the point where it's commented on multiple times in the manga and to a lesser extent in the anime. So it was when that lock of hair came and hung across the face. That's when I saw Sebastian. And now that the character's kind of emerging from the fabric, I'm in love. Totally in love with this one. So yeah, this one is definitely going to stay in the rotation. Yeah, anyway, so there's Sebastian. Got 1,000 stitches in over the last 2 weeks. Really excited with the way it's turning out. Probably will wax poetic about it more and more often as it continues to emerge. Oh, I had one other story about Sebastian. I know you're sick of hearing about him already, but I had mentioned that I was concerned that some of the whites didn't match up, and when they connected, I was right, they didn't match up. So I did have to frog about 95 stitches in here, and it's not all, I didn't go back and put it exactly in. I just kind of continued filling in where I was. So you might even be able to see the area down here where the holes are a little bit bigger because they've been stitched before and frogged. So yes, I was right. I did actually use white instead of bright white for a little bit of the stitching, but now it's fixed. And the last one, and the one that I'm still working on, I got about 1,050 stitches in on this, and this is the one that needs to be at 1,500 for me to defeat the Cyclops and finish the triad of monsters and get healing points for my team and all that stuff that you guys don't really care about. And that's Defying Gravity. I have page finish. We are officially halfway done with Defying Gravity. And of course, the very last thing I did on the bottom of the second page was make a mistake. So So I've moved the Q-snap so you can't really see the top anymore, but you guys know what it looks like. You folks know what it looks like. So here is where it is now without taking it out of the Q-snap. As you can see, I've got a large portion of the face done now, and I am starting in on the lips, and that's where I've made my mistake. And I don't know if I can hold this here and then still show you what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna try. This green is too far over. Oh, no, it's not far enough over. So I have 6 stitches of red in here where I should have 5. And unfortunately, that doesn't look like a nice even curve like it's supposed to. It looks like it juts out suddenly. So I have to figure out how I'm gonna fix this. And the answer is probably frogging all of the red that I just put in and fixing the green stitches. Sometimes when I'm feeling particularly lazy on a stitch, I will actually just stitch over in the correct color, and I did that on Sebastian. There is a spot here where I went too far out on the white and I just stitched over it in the flesh tone. But I don't think that's gonna work here because those are some fairly light greens that I'd be trying to stitch over a bright red. So I think that what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to frog that last row of red, which is in 3 different shades of red, of course. It can't just be one like quick frog and restitch. It's 3 different shades of red. Bring the green out to where it is supposed to be, and then come back in and redo the red. It's fine. It's fine. It's all okay. But yeah, doesn't it look gorgeous? I'm so excited. Halfway done. Only halfway done, but halfway done. Yeah. I love it, and I love showing it to you, but I've gushed over it so much that I don't know that I have anything more to say about it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. It's gorgeous. I love it. I can't wait to give it as a gift. I think she's really gonna love it. But in the meantime, I'm only halfway there. So let's get to work on part 2. And then the last thing I did, one of the goals that I've set myself now that I'm not limiting myself to the magical stitches prompts and trying to be more flexible, is I've started identifying some of my projects that are either very small or close to being done, or both. And I want to try to throw one of those in and try to finish some of these. And when I get into future plans, that's going to come into play a little bit more, because I've been doing some more thinking of Mania, and I think I've got an idea. So I decided to work on, of course I brought the pattern in here, but I don't know it. All right. This is Tiny Modernists Words to Live By 13-part series. This was, I think, one of the stitch-alongs a few years ago. And I've talked about this before. I'm doing all the squares individually instead of on one large piece like the model called for. And then we're gonna have some fun and probably some really funny videos when I try to learn how to quilt and mount them all onto a quilt. We'll be back to learning videos for a little while, but hopefully they'll be highly amusing because I'll talk more about that in future plans. So anyway, the first one that I had started working on, that I've been actively working on since last May is, or not actively working on, that I started last May and then promptly forgot about, like most of my Mania projects last year, was part 2, which is When It Rains, Look for Rainbows, when it's dark, look for stars. Connect camera. So there it is. And all I had done before was dark and rainbows. So I don't need to show you a picture of where it was. That's where it was. I had the word dark, rainbows, and the word dark done. And here is where I'm at right now. So I have all of the stitched words except stars done, and that's because stars is done in 3 different shades of yellow. So I'm kind of putting it off. Yeah, right now I'm kind of working my way on the rainbow. I'm going to start working on the border because that's where I'm at in the hoop, and this fabric is just stiff enough that it pops out of, this is a spring tension hoop, and so the fabric pops out of it when I'm trying to move it, and it gets annoying. So I'm going to do as much as I can while it's right here, which would be to fill in the top. So the rainbow and the clouds, and I think the word for here, and then the top parts of the border before I have to move it. The one thing I am not doing is on the pattern, you can see there's a double border. There's the more ornate border, and then inside there's the straight line border. And I'm not doing the ornate border because that's part of, and let's see if I can show you this without showing you the entire pattern. Come in from the top. That's for if it's done in the entire layout. That border all connects. So I'm not doing that. I am just going to do the border as it's shown in the main part, which is just the single line interior border around it. The other thing that I worked on this week and got some progress on was my sock. And it wasn't a ton of progress, it's about 9 or 10 rows, but the thing that makes it kind of a big deal is, holy cow, the tension needs to be unwound in this, is that I finished the leg. So I am ready to start turning the heel. It's all wound around there. It doesn't matter. You get the point. I'm ready to start turning the heel. So that one is almost done. Not almost done. What the heck? I'm just babbling at this point. I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth. The leg is done, but I've still got to turn the heel, do the gusset, do the foot, and do the toe. So I'd say maybe I'm halfway done, maybe a little bit more than halfway. But I almost have my first pair of socks because the other sock is done. So this is the second one. So that's it for whips for the week. Future plans. This week, today I need to put in, I think I said I've got in a little over 1,000 stitches on this one. So today I have to put in another 500 stitches. I think I'll have to check my counter. I might have done more since I said that. Since I last updated my notes, I have to check the actual counter app. But I have to finish up to 1,500 stitches on this one to get the extra credit today because it's the last day of the month. After that, waiting to see what the magical stitches prompts for April are, waiting to see what the extra credits for April are, but I can still work on building the cabins, which is what Words to Live By is going to count towards. I need another 100 stitches on this one, and I will have finally finished cabin 1 out of 20. And that was level 1, and level 2 has already been released, so pretty much I could just build the cabins and repair the level 2 repair areas around the camp and like earn points for my team and not have to worry about it. And it won't look good right now, but then at the end of the year, all of a sudden there'll be a huge surge in points from me. I really don't know what I'm doing because I'm waiting for those to come out. They should be out sometime today. I'm actually surprised they're not already out. And maybe they are, since I've been filming. With the technical difficulties, I've been filming off and on for quite some time right now. So, that's my immediate future plans. And as I said, I've introduced a new goal to kind of start bringing some of these smalls and these nearly completes up to completion. After I get done with that Words to Live By, I think I'm going to switch over to Flamingo All the Way. The flamingo ornament that I had started a few weeks ago. After that, the Sense and Sensibility Stitch Along, I have all of the pattern for that, and then the finishing is going to be coming up this week, and that's a small one, so probably that one. Other things, the Frankenstein Stitch Along, there's a lot of frogging to go on that one, and a lot of restitching, so that one may not be as close to finished as I think it is, but it is one of the ones I have nearer to finished. That one, Sister Suffragette. And then I'll just start going through and seeing what I've got and how far it is and how close to completion. But Mania, I'm looking ahead just over a month because today is March 31st. I'm kind of reaching a compromise. I think I am going to do Mania, and I think I'm going to do it in the original style, which is 15 starts for the first 15 days of May. I'll have to look that up. I looked it up at one point. I know it's evolved past that, but that's kind of an easier goal for me to reach. And I think but instead of starting all of these big, huge new projects, I think I'm going to try to stick to smalls for the most part. So I have, as you saw Words to Live By, I have a number of the Tiny Modernist Words to Live By, the patterns for these. Right now I have, besides part 2, I have part 3, 4, 6, and 7. And I actually just ordered the rest from one of my favorite supply stores, which is crossstitchingsupplies.com. Seriously, check her out. I love Lindsay. I actually ordered the fabric for these little 8x10 squares of 16 count black Zweigart, and she didn't have enough listed in her inventory, so I sent her an email, and she said, oh, I've got some that hasn't been updated. I updated my inventory. Go ahead and go in and order again. And then she combined them and refunded me the shipping. So I ordered all of the patterns and the fabric to complete all of those. So out of 13 parts, there's 12. So there's 12 of my first 15 days of May. Continuing with smalls, I have the 2 other flamingo ornaments, which I also already have the thread and fabric for these. So there's day 13 and 14. And then for day 15, this one is a little bit larger, but it's still relatively small, and I already have the fabric and the silks for this one, and this one, because they came in my Mystic Fabrics Christmas Mystery Box. So that's Ink Circles Fairy Ring Around the Rosie. It makes me a little sad because if you remember from my unboxing, the silk is the exact same color that my hair used to be, with the purple and the blue. And I miss my hair already, but one needs must be a grown-up. So there is the first 15 days of May. Now I went ahead and continued going through my patterns in case I get ambitious and decide to do the full 31 days of May. I pulled out and to see what all I definitely have in stock. And the first thing, it could be the month of ink circles. It's one of the things that I discovered because I have all of the Elemental Dragons patterns. So there's fire and air and water and earth. And not only do I have all 4 patterns, but I have the fabric and the silks for all of them. These were all done on Mystic Fabrics. They were dyed specifically to go with these patterns, but then they were also fabrics of the month. So I have all 4 fabrics, and then I also have the silks for all 4 of these. So there's 4 more I could do. Ink Circle's Petal Pusher was another one that came in the another pattern that came in the Mystic Fabrics mystery box for Christmas, along with the fabric that was needed for it. And there are 4 different options for colors, but they are all done in, oh, better not turn it around because the pattern is visible. But they're all done in DMC. Yes, they are all done in DMC. I don't know why those have 4 digits, but it says 3 colors of DMC. So it's all DMC, and I have the fabric, so I could do this one. I have the silks for Bendy Stitchy's Drama Llama sampler. Not only do I have the sampler, I also have the RBG quote conversion, so I could decide which one of those I wanted to do. And this is, I mean, I have several fabrics that would cover this. Side note, I was putting some of my newer fabrics away, and my hanger that holds all of my Mystic fabrics is now like bulging. I don't think I can get another piece of fabric in there. So yeah, I need to start using some of those. I have the fabric for this one. This is Ink Circle's Dilly Dahlia, and it was the other, one of the other patterns that was in the mystery box for Mystic. So I have the fabric and I have the finishing materials for this one. However, this one is done in, I had just looked this up, Weeks Dye Works. And there's a DMC conversion, but I really love using the hand-dyed threads. I love the dimension that they give to things. But, so I'd have to order the threads for this one. But I have everything else I need for it. These two, I have the specialty threads that I would need for them, and that's Autumn Lane's Midnight Brew. Trying to get away from, I'm going to take it out of the package to try and get away from that glare. So I have the specialty glow in the darks. That green is Neon Rays Plus from Rainbow Gallery. Boy, that one was hard to get my hands on. And I have all the specialty fabrics and beads I need for Sleepy Hollow as well. So that would be another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. And that brings me most of the way through May. And I've got plenty more patterns that are simple DMC. And like I said, my fabric stash is getting to be huge. So my goal is going to be the 15 days, 15 smalls, and then we will see how I feel on May 16th. Your guess is as good as mine, whether or not I'll be doing a full 31-day mania or just a 15-day. And I could yet change my mind and decide to do Monomania on Deal Struck. But I have the stuff that I need. So, if you're here for cross stitch, I'm done. Adios. I have a few other things I would like to talk about. If you're a sewer, please stick around. I need help. Okay, so I called this a crisis. It's not really a crisis. It's just upsetting. So the last piece of my CL cosplay arrived. And there's a problem. Do you really need to be up here when I'm about to get out the dark blue fabric that I don't want white hair on? This petting break brought to you by Lexi. Okay. Now go entertain yourself. You were digging in the bag with all my new makeup. Go do that. It's cosplay makeup. I mean, I think you can tell I don't wear makeup unless I'm forced or I'm cosplaying or dancing. So, how horribly inappropriate of you. All right, please get down now. I'm kind of beginning to miss the weeks when I couldn't get her to come in here. So, anyway, the last piece came, and it is, I'll try to pull an image off of Google and stick it in here, but it is Ciel's long outerwear coat that he wears in the first series. And I really like it because any excuse that I can get a top hat and a walking stick, yes please. I'm all about the accessories with my cosplays. I don't have the figure to cosplay. Surprise, surprise. So I spend all of my time like making sure I get the details right. Because I'm not gonna look like the person at all. So you have to have the details right so everybody knows who you are. And when the coat came, first of all, the coat is a little bit shorter than I'd like. If you looked at that one that I just showed you, it's fairly long. And this one is shorter. I think it comes to maybe like not even mid-thigh. So it's shorter than I expected. That's fine. One of the saving graces is I think a lot of these factories in China that make these costumes, actually I suspect they might all be the same company, just under different usernames. But they all, because they post the same pictures and everything. But they use the same fabric. So this is actually, this is the coat. Yoo-hoo, wake up. They use the same fabric, so my suit and the coat actually match. So it's not the end of the world that the coat isn't long enough. How are you doing this to me again? Technical difficulties yet again. Let's see if I can stop this. Okay, I don't know how much of this you could see, but this is the same color as the suit that I will be wearing under it. So I don't have to freak out that they won't match and won't look good together, and that's fine. The problem is this cowl right here. And again, here's the picture. So you can see the cowl is meant to kind of drape. It's kind of like the Inverness cape look with the cowl over it. But not so much. The problem is with this one, if I button it all the way up, it's completely constricting. It won't let me move at all. And then, I don't know if you could also see this, but even like tugging it down, the shoulders stick up. I think largely because it's too tight. So my first thought was, no big deal. I will take it down the back seam. I'll rip the back seam out, finish it off, and create a vent. There's no back seam. So if I was going to do that, I would actually have to cut into this. I don't want to. My first thought, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the buttons and move them more like over here, which will give me some motion. But it still doesn't fix the problem of the shoulders. I feel like I need to take that seam in, and I'm not sure how to do it because they have finished it. One of the reasons that I order from this, and this is why I'm disappointed, is I've ordered from them in the past and always loved what I got. They have finished the inside of this beautifully. That lining is very well sewn, and it's going to be a pain in the neck to pick out. And also, this is not meant to have vents on the side. And like I said, I like my accuracy. But that is an option. Again, I would have to cut because they've finished that off with a ribbon underneath. So even picking out the seam, I would still have to cut. And I hate cutting things that have already been sewn through an area that's going to be seen. But I need to do something about these shoulders. So this is where, if you have any experience with sewing and with altering clothes and or cosplay or anything else, help? Any ideas? I mean, do I need to go ahead and cut through this and actually just make myself a vent down the back? I don't know. I don't know what to do. If it absolutely comes down to it, and when it gets to Gen Con, it's going to be way too hot to wear the overcoat over the suit. Did that the year that I cosplayed Edward Elric. I had 2 jackets on because I had the black under jacket and then I had the red cloak over it. But on that one, at least I got to wear a tank top underneath, and on this one, I'm going to have to wear a full long sleeve dress shirt underneath. So it's going to be way too hot, even in mid-September, to wear the overcoat at Gen Con. But for the photo shoot, I wanted to wear that because, like I said, I want my top hat, I want my walking stick, I want my leather gloves. I am all about my accessories. So if you have any suggestions, if you've got any experience in that and you have any suggestions on how I could possibly fix that, it would be much appreciated. My other cosplay, since Gen Con is going on, I have the 2 cosplays I designed for last year, which if you follow my Instagram and have for some time, at Halloween I wore them. And that was Maka Albarn from Soul Eater, complete with scythe, and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I have those 2, and then now I have CL, which my friend is going to cosplay Sebastian. And then the third one I decided to do is Princess Yona from Yona of the Dawn. And I actually had started putting this one together a while ago, so I have everything except her kimono. And that just shipped. So, and then my friend got excited about that and it's like, maybe I can do Hawk. So, I don't know. We'll see. But, so Yona has shipped, and once that arrives, I think that is the absolute last thing I need, and both of my cosplays will be done except for the makeup. And I'm really not good at makeup. I know just enough to put on a face for dance, and that's about it. So I've been watching some tutorials, and I just bought a bunch of makeup earlier today that I'm gonna give it a try. Especially eyes. I'm not good with eyes, and I have to actually like do drawing and stuff, and like drawing in eyelashes. I don't know if I can do it. I may just like go back and do my simple full face blush and eyeshadow and call it a day. But it'd be nice to do some of these fancier looks to accent the contacts that I'm wearing. So who knows? Maybe I'll do. I've had some comments lately from people that are going through kind of my back catalog of videos that they liked the learning videos. So maybe I'll throw those in. I'll mark them as bonus instead of Flosstube. so that if you don't want to watch them, you don't have to. But maybe that'll be a learn by doing video. In addition to the quilts that will be coming up, will be the watching me try to learn how to do eye makeup. Because that is kind of a crafty thing when you start getting into designing cosplays and costumes and things like that. That's a part of it, and it's a part that I'm not good at. So I feel like it can fit on a crafting channel. Prove me wrong. You can have your opinion if you want. And it's just something I'm toying with. So if it's something you want to see, let me know. Life update, Easter this weekend. My dad got his second vaccination, so I am not going to have to worry nearly as much about him anymore. I'm going up to see him. I don't know if we're going to do an Easter with my brother and sister-in-law and my nephews. I kind of let them plan it, and I just show up and go with the flow. So I don't know, but I have baskets in the car for them if we do. Yeah, I'm taking the next 2 days off. I'm kind of, ouch, what is that? Trying to work my way through, do some more work on converting my craft room, and basically just getting a lot of stitching done. So that, because otherwise I was just going to go ahead and say that I wasn't going to have a video next week because I don't stitch when I'm at my dad's house. I just don't. Even when I have time. The lighting is not as good. I don't like it as much. And I just tend to do other things when I'm there. So there's about a 50-50 chance I'll have a video next week. It depends on how much stitching I get done in the next 2 days before I leave. If I'll have anything to show you or if I'll just wait 2 weeks. So if you don't see a video from me next week, don't be surprised. That is about all I have. And now somehow I got a splinter in my hand just now. I don't know how there was a splinter on this bedspread, but I'm going to go see if I can get that out. And in the meantime, I hope you guys all stay safe and healthy and splinter free. And I will see you all next time, whether that is next week or the week after. Bye.